Hello everyone, welcome to PlayStation Access. My name is Ash and I'm joined by Rob.
Hello.
Hello, Rob. We're going to be talking about Ghostwire Tokyo today.
Yes.
I'm very excited.
I am nervous.
That was the two ends of the spectrum there. Very excited and nervous.
Yes, but aren't you going to say why I'm going to like it? Why a horror game coward is still going to like this game?
I absolutely am. So this is a video all about why, if you are someone that doesn't enjoy horror games, you will still love Ghostwire Tokyo. And if you are someone that does enjoy horror games, you're really going to like it. So it's the horror game for everyone, I would argue. I've been having an absolute blast playing it. So in this video, I'm going to talk about kind of revelations and gameplay from chapters 1 and 2 to keep the spoilers to an absolute minimum, and the footage you're going to see is all from chapter 2, so kind of the things you discover in chapter 1 are still kept fresh for you, so we're not going to go too far into spoiler territory if you're worried about that.
Lovely.
So, to jump right in then, I'm going to start us off with our first point, which is you're going to love this, Rob. You're going to love this for the setting alone, because it is gorgeous. It is beautiful. It is Tokyo at its finest. So the story of Ghostwire Tokyo is you're playing as Akito, who has been in a car accident and kind of has one foot in the grave. And KK, a spirit, is absorbed into him, and the two survive on this kind of symbiotic relationship together within the same body. And Akito can use KK's powers, and KK can use Akito's body. And the two are kind of working together to reach similar goals. So the driving force for Akito is he wants to save his sister, which is what we've seen in the trailers.
Yeah.
And KK is just like a badass ghost hunter who is out to help Tokyo from all the mysterious fog that has come into it, because everyone else has disappeared. These two are there. Everyone's disappeared. There's fog everywhere. Ghosts are coming into town, which is why it's Ghostwire Tokyo. And it just makes for the most beautiful setting. I know that doesn't sound ideal, but it's gorgeous. It's so...
I've seen the puddles.
Yes.
The puddles look great.
They are. It's just, honestly, I was blown away when I walked into it, because you've got this like mysterious fog that's lurking around the edges, and then this like neon backdrop of Tokyo where you're walking through, the puddles are reflecting, the lights are flickering, you've got these massive cities and sprawling side streets that you can kind of go down and look into. Everything is so detailed. It's not like everyone's disappeared from this world and you're wandering around a big empty open husk. It's like it feels close and kind of claustrophobic and still full of detail and things that you would find in a real life Tokyo. I've had so much fun just poking around all the little nooks and crannies and like looking in the back of scooters and stuff. It's so good.
Tokyo is such a cool city anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't think we get to explore it enough in video games.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
obviously
sure.
in Yakuza you explore like a fictional version of it almost. But I'm excited. Is it fully open world? How does it work?
So you unlock more of the world as you go through. There are basically torii gates that you cleanse and shrines that you cleanse of this corruption and strange fog that has taken over the place and brought the ghosts with it. And as you clear that, you can step out into more of the world, because the fog is kind of like hazardous to you. It takes away your health.
Right.
But the fog itself is gorgeous, I gotta say. Just shout out to the fog.
Lovely fog.
Yeah, it's just lovely fog. It's kind of like this steamy mist, as a fog is.
Does it not hide evil things?
No, the evil things are out in the open.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of got like these lovely little symbols in it that kind of float in and out, so it looks like a spell. It's really interesting to look at. I kept running into it at first and dying, because I was like, oh wow, look at this fog, and then just having to start again. But yeah, that's kind of like one of the reasons I think that you'll really love it, and why people who maybe are a bit unsure about horror will love Ghostwire Tokyo is that the main thrust of it is you are going to enjoy it because it's not scary enough to make you want to stop playing. There's scary moments, there's horror elements, but it makes you want to push through. You see all this creepy stuff, but there's so much gorgeous environment to explore that you want to get in there and see it all. And that kind of then is pushed upon and built upon by the game's sense of humour, which I think is just fantastic, because it really does have this kind of creepy heart that it then is very playful about. It's it's so silly, as well as having these scary moments and creepy things that kind of are the heart of Ghostwire Tokyo. It's all wrapped up in this joyous experience where you're reading pets' minds, like there's cats and dogs that haven't disappeared from Tokyo.
I've heard you. I saw the other day in the office, all you were doing was, I found another dog.
Yeah!
I found another cat. It's not what I was expecting from Ghostwire Tokyo, I'll be honest.
Yes, It's amazing just to go up. You can read their thoughts. All the dogs are like, oh my God, hi, I love you. And all the cats are like, I'm in a bad mood, which is so good.
Classic.
And you can feed
cats.
Yeah, it is. You can feed the dogs and they take you to treasure. And the cats just sass you a bit. You can't feed them. But you can stroke both of them, which is very important. So I need you to know that.
Can you pet the dogs? Twitter will like that.
Can you pet the dogs will be all over it. You can also see in the shops these creatures called Nekomata, which are my absolute favourite part of this whole game, 100%, no questions asked, which are just floating yokai cats. If a yokai is like a Japanese spirit.
They sound scary, Ash.
No, they're so cute. They're basically just...
Are they actually cute or are they Ash cute?
No, they are so cute. They're little, like, chubby little fluffy cats with, like, a little bit of clothes on, and their tails have split into two to signify that they're a yokai, like they're a spirit, and they're floating. And they're all just chilling out, like meowing and yawning, and then when you go and talk to them, they put their little paws together and like, hello, Hugh meow. They just have loads of puns.
Goodness sake.
They're amazing. And having those is kind of like, you're in the streets of Tokyo where you're like punching ghosts in the face, and then you go into a little shop and he's like, oh, I've got some perfect equipment for you. It's just, oh, I love it. I am really enjoying this game if my tone of voice isn't kind of giving that away so far. And
it sounds like a game that's made for you, like scary ghosts and cats.
It is. I'm having the best time. There's also tanuki, which are like another Japanese like raccoon dog, and they're like lucky creatures. And this pinpoints the humour of the game, I feel, in the most particular way, because in Chapter 2 you meet the boss tanuki, who's like, hey, will you go and find my friends? And then as you're going through, sometimes you'll see items that have tails coming out of them, and you have to go and up to them and be like, hello, I know you're a tanuki, and it'll come out and talk to you and then go back to the boss. And it's just again, you're punching ghosts, firing off your ethereal weaving, and then actually just talking to tanuki on the side as well. It's got everything you could want in a game.
Cats and ghosts and punching.
Yes, and I should talk about the punching some more because it's incredibly satisfying. So the combat that you get in this game is ruled by ethereal weaving, which is using the elements to your advantage, which is wind, fire and water. Wind is your main one, which is kind of like the green floaty goo that you'll have seen on Akito's fingers, which he fires off. It's kind of like your classic ranged attack, so you can stand far away and fire off like a wind. It's like a dart, it's a piece of wind. But it's like darting them from far away, and you can charge these up and do like mega attacks. Fire is like your explosive type of ethereal weaving, where you can charge that up massively, and it's like a shotgun of fire energy. And then you've got water, which is a slash and a pushback. And if you charge that up, that does some good damage to some nasty ghosts. So it's a nice little bit of choice between all three. And you also have other weapons like a bow that you can use as well. I feel like the combat is challenging but satisfying. If you are just firing off all your ethereal weaving in the bow, you've got to think about where you're firing it to and what you're firing it at and which one you want to use. And maybe you want to use it like a talisman, like a paper talisman that you can throw down and shock them. There's loads of mix and match ways you can approach the combat. And there is lots of combat. It's lots of fighting. There are loads of ghosts all over Tokyo, and there's loads of different types of ones as well that are doing different things.
This is the thing you've been saying quite a lot, is that it's action horror, right? It's not survival horror. This is more Devil May Cry than Resident Evil.
100%. This is you're going in. You're not there to hide and to be afraid and to be attacked by all of these horrible creatures. You're there. You are absolutely armed to the teeth with spectral powers that you can use against them. And it makes for, again, just incredibly satisfying gameplay. You can sneak around. I know you'll like this, Rob. You can sneak around and punch the cores out through the back of them and do quick purges. So if you want to be sneaky, you can. But I feel like the combat's just so fun. You'll be running in. You'll be wailing. You'll absolutely be running in with all your different spells. Like, whoa, let's go.
I mean, Shinji Mikami has great pedigree here.
Yeah.
With both survival horror and action horror, so
yeah,
I am excited.
Yeah, you can feel like the influence of these previous games within this one, and as much as it is a love letter to all things spooky, like you can find collectibles like a cursed videotape, which is obviously your little Ring reference, and there's a letter. This was one of my favourite little references. I'm not going to tell you who it's from because I want you to find it for yourself, dear listener, viewer, watcher. There's a little letter from a famous horror character who is real as well, in one of the shrines, which you need to go and read.
Interesting.
It's just
a famous video game horror character?
No, just a famous person that also is in films.
Oh. And
it's just a nice touch. It just really made me laugh that they'd got a letter from them in this in this game. But yeah, all of this being encapsulated, you've got the beautiful Tokyo setting, you've got the sense of humour, you've got this great combat, and then the gameplay as well, with outside of all that, is so interesting and intriguing. There's so much to this game that pulls you in, like cleansing your shrines, cleansing your Torii gates. You've got spirits lurking around that haven't managed to move on yet, that are like, hey, come and help me. And you go into their house and, like, you know, either liberate a spirit that's in there, or find a lost item for them, or help get rid of a nasty demonic thing that's gone a bit rotten in the afterlife. It's so good. Cleanse that corruption, have a good time. And kind of feel like the last thing that I want to point out, I'm going at 500 miles an hour because I want to tell you as much as I can about this game, I'm having so much fun, is every item you collect has a really detailed description of its purpose and meaning in Japanese culture and lore.
Right.
So picking up like the stuff that's obviously fictional, like the cursed videotape, which is a little reference to The Ring, has like a little description about how if you watch it and pass it on, then maybe you'll get cursed. Woo! But then you're also picking up other things like toys, like from older periods of Japanese culture, that then it tells you everything that it means and what it does. And like I was picking up toy cars and frilled lizards, and it was telling me about the crazes that for frilled lizards in Japan, like kind of came from, I think it was advertising. So it's just got all of these little tiny details in there. So you've got stuff from like the Edo period and painters that you can pick up their pictures of, and it tells you what their influence is. It's just so interesting. I feel like I've learned so much from simply playing it and reading all the bits, reading about Nekomata particularly, because I love those. But
it sounds like there's lots to do to avoid being scared all the time.
Yes.
So you can learn about Japanese history and culture. You can speak to ghost cats.
Yes.
And when you do have to fight the ghosts, you actually have enough weapons and moves to kick their ass, which sounds great.
Yeah, thank you for tying up my points there, Rob, because
you're welcome.
The thing is, I've just been, as someone who loves horror, I've loved this game for the amount of joy it has brought me, more than the creepy moments of terror that are in there. And there are scary moments, but they're not going to make you want to stop playing. You're going to want to push through. You're going to want to go and find your next shopkeeper. You're going to go and want to have a little look for what items are lying around. You're going to want to use your ethereal weaving and take down a ghost that's really like jumped out at you. It's so compelling and makes you want to just keep on going and keep on going. And there's something for everyone to enjoy in it that isn't just straight up, oh my God, please make the horror stop.
What's the scarometer score?
I don't know if I'm desensitized.
What's a 10? What would be a 10 for you in terms of, oh my God, that's the scariest game I've ever played?
Oh my God. Well, if we're talking, the easiest barometer, I think, is kind of Resident Evil 7, because it's very much like, that is like survival action, a bit of everything, but you've got your inventory management, and then you've got like, you know, terrifying monsters, a horrible family. So if we put that at 10, I don't know if that is like the 10 game, but let's put that at 10. I would say this is like, you know, it's like a 4 or a 5. It's not like making me scared, run away, oh my God, everything's so terrifying.
So it's got like spooky, creepy vibes.
Yeah, it's a flavour. It's a flavour of horror.
I can deal with that. Yeah. I think I can deal with that.
I feel like the horror comes through in the enemy designs and kind of the corruption and there's weird psychological moments where it's kind of like the spirit world entering the real world that kind of blend together. And having these psychological moments and kind of the interpretation of Akito's past and that sort of thing is really interesting more than it is terrifying. I keep saying that, but it is. It's just really, really, I want to know more about it, and I know that people who aren't big horror fans will want that as well. So I'm going to wrap this up now. There are still so many mysteries in Ghostwire Tokyo. You haven't even seen a half of it yet. I've just played chapter 1 and 2, and loads of the trailer and footage that we've seen so far has been included in it, so I know there's like loads more in this game that we haven't seen yet, which is really exciting. The mystery has totally been preserved, so I hope that you enjoy it when it comes out as much as I have been, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you all think about it. For now, though, let me know if you are a coward and you're going to play this game. Rob,
I am.
Are you a coward?
I'm a coward, and I'm going to play the game. Yes.
Please come back to PlayStation Access for more lovely PlayStation content, and we'll see you again very soon. Thanks for watching. PlayStation